Yo, 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 you know what it is. Yo, check, check. My level's good. Alright. Yo, you know what's up, man. You know what it is. Home Inc. TV, Hustlers on a Mission every day. Sponsored by DividendsApparel.com. Remember, whatever you do, make sure you do it capital. Create a positive impact today and later. Fuck them haters. Get your motherfucking paper straight like that. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hope everybody had a good day. Hope everybody had a productive day. Tuesday. We going into Wednesday morning. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. You know what I'm saying? Hope you gonna have a better morning than me. Shit, man. Well, I had a good day. Got all my shit handled, ran around like a bitch. Just got back in about 25 minutes ago, some shit like that. 30 minutes ago, I should say. What time is it? What time it is? We going in right now. Last night it was what, 3:15. Yeah, I was out there fucking with my car. My battery died as soon as I got to this bitch. And I know my battery died as soon as I got to this bitch because when I boom, park, hot dot, got my shit, boom, boom, boom. I get out, I close the door and I hit the button. The button usually lock the door. That bitch don't even do nothing. So I don't pay attention to it till I get to the door like, damn, I always hit the lock. Make sure I hit a beep on my shit locked. So I hit the shit. I don't hear nothing. I don't even see the lights light up there. I'm like, what the fuck? My door? My door closed. All my doors closed. I'm like, man, let me try to turn the bitch on. That bitch ain't doing nothing. I can't even hit the power button to lock the door. I'm like, damn, this bitch went completely dead. But bright side, I got all my shit handled. Got to the house. You know what I'm saying? Before that shit happened, because I done turned the car off. I just recently turned the car off and came to the be like, that could have been a problem. That shit was almost a problem. That shit was almost a problem, bro. But God is the greatest, you know what I'm saying? God is the greatest, boy. Only thing is, I'm supposed to go pick up my daughter from her therapy in the morning, but I hadn't gotten there. I let my baby mama know count to that, just bring her straight to me. And we'll handle that like that, because shit, I ain't trying to chance that, have to be going through all this extra shit to make sure I can get a battery, especially when you got to depend on other people to help you out in them type of situations. Like, no, I ain't doing that. So, to bring my daughter here and get that shit straight, and we can take it to therapy. I can pick up next Thursday, whatever. But yeah, man, we finna get into it. As you can see, the title, what is why they fear Minister Farrakhan, Minister Louis Farrakhan, I should say, the honorable, the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, as I should say. You know what I'm saying? So we finna get into this and see why they fear the Louis, the Minister Louis Farrakhan, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Because as y'all know, uh, he was notorious for having his uh, speeches or so you say content or his message taken down off of these platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and all of those for whatever reason. But we're gonna just see here on this video why they fear the Honorable Minister Luke Farrakhan. My bad, it's been a long day, so I'm trying to say it smoothly and just say how it is. So we just go right like this.
group who mean business and who can deliver.
Oh shit. I fucked up a little bit. Hold on, we're gonna get it right quick. Cause I just gotta put this back on here. You know. Like
I know you want to kill me.
Oh.
But I just raised the price.
Man.
You want me dead, but you gonna pay a price to get that result.
Who wants to kill you? Why? I believe that conversation is raging right now in government circles. Because I appear to be interfering with America's foreign policy objectives in Africa and in the Middle East. They want me kind of silenced or muzzled, and if they can destroy my credibility, as they did Martin Luther King first, take him down in the eyes of his people and then assassinate him. I don't believe that America is beyond that. I believe it's being discussed right now in the White House. I believe it's being discussed by certain members of Congress. How are you going to deal with Farrakhan? Yes, I presented you with a dilemma, but I'm warning America. I'm not Martin Luther King. I'm not Malcolm X. I'm in a little different time frame. And I think you would be wise to see if God is with me. And if God is with me, you would be well to leave me alone.
For the first time in history, black suicide is up. Black men are committing suicide, young men and older men. Even when we were in slavery and the conditions were intolerable, black men survived without suicide. But today, the black man is killing himself because he sees no way out.
Shit, man. I had a couple people die from suicide. On my cousin. Rest in peace, Jeff. Yeah, that shit hit home. I kind of like have thoughts about that shit. Y'all let me know about that. Y'all ever had like thoughts of that shit? Y'all got people in y'all family and shit, or people around you, your friends and shit that shit happen to you. You know what I'm saying? So much shit out here trying to kill you anyway. You might as well goddamn just try to reach the end of the game. You feel me? Don't be trying to put no cheat codes in. Put no cheat codes in and all that, bro. You gotta do all that. You know what I'm saying? We all gotta get up out of here one day anyway. The thing about life is just living it, nigga. That's the thing about life, bitch. You just gotta live it. All the pain, you gotta feel it, nigga. All the love, joy, all that shit. You gotta accept the good with the bad with the good. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
I ask you.
Hey man, anybody struggling with them thoughts and all that shit like that, get you some help, talk to somebody, man. Listen to Joyner Lucas. Joyner Lucas got a song, man. That shit goddamn bring me to tears sometimes. I ain't gonna lie, boy.
How in the world can you say that Farrakhan is a bigot, is a racist, is a man that's against the good of his people, when I come with a solution to the problem that 400 years of America's racism has committed?
His guts, his naked honesty and unmasked truth, there's never been anything like it.
I first recognized the passion of the Black Muslim movement and Louis Farrakhan way back in 1959 when I anchored a broadcast entitled The Hate That Hate Produced. The Black Muslim meeting we filmed included a mock trial, a kind of passion play, where the white man was judged for crimes against the black race. The voice you will hear is that of the prosecutor. This tape will show you why white America was worried about the black Muslims.
I charge the white man, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, with being the greatest murderer on earth. I charge the white man with being the greatest peacebreaker on earth. I charge the white man with being the greatest adulterer on earth. I charge the white man with being the greatest troublemaker on earth. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I ask you, bring back a verdict of guilty as charged.
I'm sure you remember that. You wrote it.
Yes.
And you believed that then.
Oh, yes, I believe it now. History is not false. If he says that the white man did all these things, I did not write the white man's history. That history is written in murder, in the bloodshed of the darker peoples of the world, and even in the bloodshed of your own people.
Louis Farrakhan, the one-time enigmatic leader of the Nation of Islam and a Black American activist, was a figure who crackled remarkably with electric energy. His fiery rhetorics and unapologetic stances made him a lightning rod in American society, particularly feared by the establishment.
Do you still believe in separation of the races?
I believe, Mike, that if we can't get along in peace, then we should separate. We have serious differences that are exacerbated now over time between black and white. The question that we have to answer, are those differences irreconcilable?
Are they?
I don't know. Have we tried as hard as we could to reconcile them? And if we have, and we cannot, then separation would be the best answer.
But you are suggesting that it's basically the white man's fault.
Oh, no, Mr. Wallace. I am not going to say that. Because justice would not be served if I said it was all the fault of white people.
Reason that
we have to take some blame in this ourselves. As black people, we can't sit around waiting for white people to do for us what we should be doing for ourselves. And our failure to do this is our fault. White folk have done bad by us in the past. Yes, that is true. And they do some bad by us today. But if we did better by ourselves today, we could help to reconcile this difference.
Farrakhan's call for black men to do better for themselves was the theme of his Million Man March.
This was the year 1995, October 16th, when Farrakhan called for a 1 million man march. This was held in and around the National Mall in Washington, D.C. On this date, all blacks were encouraged to stay home from their usual school, work, and social engagements in favor of attending teach-ins, focusing on the struggle for a healthy and self-sufficient black community. The man Farrakhan was active on all forums to make sure that his message for black liberation was well heard.
The young lady said she's afraid of violence. And isn't it sad that we who have been the victims of so much violence, now whites fear violence from us? We do not have a history of killing white people. White people have a history of killing us. See? And what you fear, may I say this, sir? What you fear, and it's a deep guilt thing that white folks suffer. You are afraid that if we ever come to power, we will do to you and your fathers what you and your people have done to us. And I think you are judging us by the state of your own mind, and that is not necessarily the mind of black people.
Getting back to what she said, what exactly do we have a problem with? Before you made a statement, you said that I think that, well, not I, you said that white people think that you're inferior to us. I don't believe that. I'm part of the youth of America. I am not prejudiced. I feel more prejudiced right now than I've ever felt.
It becomes apparent more and more as we listen to each other and try to talk to each other that we don't perceive reality the same. And as we're talking about either reconciling differences
or separating, it becomes clear that if two people are looking at the same thing and perceiving it so differently, then the two people are operating under a different stimulus. And so when the young lady says, I am prejudiced, to be prejudiced means to judge before the fact. After 400 years of living and experiencing, we're not prejudiced. We are looking at the reality of what we have suffered and continue to suffer.
When criticized for visiting the Middle East, this was Louis Farrakhan's response.
Farrakhan says he does not worry about what the government thinks of his traveling to Tehran, where he spoke to millions of Iranians celebrating the 17th anniversary of the Islamic Revolution, an uprising that led to the taking of the U.S. hostages, or about his much publicized visit to Baghdad to confer with Iraq's Saddam Hussein.
He didn't go to Egypt, where Sadat and Begin made peace, a Muslim and a Jew. He didn't go to Jordan, where King Hussein and Shimon Peres have made an accord. He didn't go to Israel, where Arafat and Rabin finally shook hands, instead of just going to a lot of dictatorships. To go to a democratic country where Jews and Muslims are beginning to reconcile might have been a wonderful sign for you, Minister Farrakhan, to show to the world.
If they're on the road to reconciliation, that's fine. But, you know, there's also the possibility of my being assassinated overseas. Egypt right now is a place where it's very, very volatile. And I thought that in that surrounding, it might not be the best place for me at this time. If I went to Israel, I don't think Israel would be the best place for me to be at this time, considering the view that most Jews have of Louis Farrakhan.
You go to Nigeria, which is, if not the most corrupt nation in Africa, and it could be the most corrupt nation in the world, Minister Farrakhan.
Oh, now, Mr. Wallace.
It is the most corrupt nation that I have ever covered. I've been there 25 years ago, and I've been there as recently as last year.
Fine. So what? 35 years old. That's what that nation is. Now, here's America, 226 years old. You love democracy, but there in Africa, you're trying to force these people into a system of government that you just have accepted. 30 years ago, black folk got the right to vote. You're not in any moral position to tell anybody how corrupt they are. You should be quiet and let those of us who know our people go there and help them get out of that condition. But America should keep her mouth shut wherever there's a corrupt regime, as much hell as America has raised on the earth. No, I will not allow America or you, Mr.
Testing, that it's basically...
I did not write the white man's history. That history is written.
Yeah, I had to rewind. I'm back. You know what I'm saying? My apologies. The steak went to fighting with that chicken I just ate. So, what we gonna do? Is, I'm gonna rewind so I can see it again. Y'all get the shit. And, you already seen it? Fast forward, man.
In murder, in the bloodshed of the darker peoples of the world, and even in the bloodshed of your own people.
Louis Farrakhan, the one-time enigmatic leader of the Nation of Islam and a Black American activist, was a figure who crackled remarkably with electric energy. His fiery rhetorics and unapologetic stances made him a lightning rod in American society, particularly feared by the establishment.
Do you still believe in separation of the races?
I believe, Mike, that if we can't get along in peace, then we should separate. We have serious differences that are exacerbated now over time between black and white. The question that we have to answer, are those differences irreconcilable?
Are they?
I don't know. Have we tried as hard as we could to reconcile them? And if we have and we cannot, then separation would be the best answer.
You are suggesting that it's basically the white man's fault.
Oh, no, Mr. Wallace. I am not going to say that. Because justice would not be served if I said it was all the fault of white people.
Reason that
we have to take some blame in this ourselves. As black people, we can't sit around waiting for white people to do for us what we should be doing for ourselves.
Right.
And our failure to do this is our fault. White folk have done bad by us in the past. Yes, that is true. And they do some bad by us today. But if we did better by ourselves today, we could help to reconcile this difference.
Right.
Farrakhan's call for black men to do better for themselves was the theme of his Million Man March.
This was the year 1995, October 16th, when Farrakhan called for a 1 million man march. This was held in and around the National Mall in Washington, D.C. On this date, all blacks were encouraged to stay home from their usual school, work, and social engagements in favor of attending teach-ins, focusing on the struggle for a healthy and self-sufficient black community. The man Farrakhan was active on all forums to make sure that his message for black liberation was well heard.
The young lady said she's afraid of violence. And isn't it sad that we who have been the victims of so much violence, now whites fear violence from us? We do not have a history of killing white people. White people have a history of killing us. See? And what you fear, may I say this, sir? What you fear, and it's a deep guilt thing that white folks suffer. You are afraid that if we ever come to power, we will do to you and your fathers what you and your people have done to us. And I think you are judging us by the state of your own mind, and that is not necessarily the mind of black people.
Getting back to what she said, what exactly do we have a problem with? Before you made a statement, you said that I think that, well, not I, you said that white people think that you're inferior to us. I don't believe that. I'm part of the youth of America. I am not prejudiced. I feel more prejudiced right now than I've ever felt.
It becomes apparent more and more as we listen to each other and try to talk to each other that we don't perceive reality the same. And as we're talking about either reconciling differences or separating, it becomes clear that if two people are looking at the same thing and perceiving it so differently, then the two people are operating under a different stimulus. And so when the young lady says, I am prejudiced, to be prejudiced means to judge before the fact. After 400 years of living and experiencing, we're not prejudiced. We are looking at the reality of what we have suffered and continue to suffer.
When criticized for visiting the Middle East, this was Louis Farrakhan's response.
Now,
Farrakhan says he does.
I can't even say I'm prejudiced no more. I was using prejudice. I like, no, black people can't be racist. You can be prejudiced. But shit, nigga. With his explanation, I understand that we shouldn't even be prejudiced. Because this is just the result of patterns that we have been experiencing the whole time, and that's why we feel like that. So it's not even being prejudiced. The reality of this shit. That's what I be telling motherfuckers. And what he was talking about with the separation when two people can notice a situation and have two different views of it, it's just like you would, damn, that shit just reminded me of my mother of my child, bro, because I don't like that shit. But that shit reminded me of that because we both saw shit totally different. Like, it was like, I felt like the bitch was, like, she saw it so different, I felt like the motherfucker was delusional. Like, that's how I felt like how can you fucking see it like that? Even with switching my shit around, like switching my words up. Like, So I tell her to text me because I feel like her reading comprehension is better than her listening.
Does not worry about what the government thinks of his traveling to Tehran, where he spoke to millions of Iranians celebrating the 17th anniversary of the Islamic Revolution, an uprising that led to the taking of the U.S. hostages, or about his much publicized visit to Baghdad to confer with Iraq's Saddam Hussein.
You didn't go to Egypt, where Sadat and Begin made peace, a Muslim and a Jew. You didn't go to Jordan, where King Hussein and Shimon Peres have made an accord. Didn't go to Israel, where Arafat and Rabin finally shook hands, instead of just going to a lot of dictatorships. To go to a democratic country where Jews and Muslims are beginning to reconcile might have been a wonderful sign for you, Minister Farrakhan, to show to the world.
If they're on the road to reconciliation, that's fine. But, you know, there's also the possibility of my being assassinated overseas. Egypt right now is a place where it's very, very volatile. And I thought that in that surrounding, it might not be the best place for me at this time. If I went to Israel, I don't think Israel would be the best place for me to be at this time, considering the view that most Jews have of Louis Farrakhan.
You go to Nigeria, which is, if not the most corrupt nation in Africa, and it is, it could be the most corrupt nation in the world, Minister Farrakhan.
Oh, now, Mr. Wallace.
It is the most corrupt nation that I have ever covered. I've been there 25 years ago, and I've been there as recently as last year.
Fine. So what? 35 years old. That's what that nation is. Now, here's America, 226 years old. You love democracy, but there in Africa, you're trying to force these people into a system of government that you just have accepted. 30 years ago, black folk got the right to vote. You're not in any moral position to tell anybody how corrupt they are. You should be quiet and let those of us who know our people go there and help them get out of that condition. But America should keep her mouth shut wherever there's a corrupt regime, as much hell as America has raised on the earth. No, I will not allow America or you, Mr. Wallace, to condemn them as the most corrupt nation on earth when you have spilled the blood of human beings. Has Nigeria dropped an atomic bomb and killed people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Have they killed off millions of Native Americans? How dare you put yourself in that position as a moral judge? I think you should keep quiet, because with that much blood on America's hands, you have no right to speak. I will speak because I don't have that blood on my hand. Yes, there's corruption there. Yes, there's mismanagement of resources. Yes, there is abuse. There's abuse in every nation on earth, including this one. So let's not play holy to moralize on them. Let's help them.
I'm not moralizing. I'm asking a question, and I got an answer.
Why would you put it as the most corrupt regime in the world? That doesn't make sense.
Can you think of one more corrupt?
Yeah, I'm living in one. I'm living in one. Yes. You've done a hell of a thing on this earth, so you should not be the one to talk. You should be quiet when it comes to moral condemnation.
Farrakhan didn't mince words about the legacy of slavery and its enduring impact on Black America. He tapped into a deep vein of frustration and anger at racial injustice.
You don't give a damn no more how low down you are, how funky you have become, how rotten you look in the eyes of the world. You don't give a damn no more. You have lost your sense of shame. So you're no longer human beings. You've become a race of animals.
We lost Martin Luther King because America did not want to hear a word that would make her a just society. So America kills your leaders. America kills your leaders and then names streets after you.
And give them holidays.
But the leader's dream dies and you ride on Martin Luther King Boulevard. See, when you describe the Christ figure, both from the Revelations and from Daniel, you get a dark man. You don't get a Caucasian. You say, well, what difference does it make? If it didn't make a difference, why did you paint him white? You give us scripts to play. We're so happy to be in a movie. But you write the script. And you write us in as clowns and buffoons. You know what you're doing to our mind. You know what you're doing to our psyche. I never did that to Jews. But some Jews did that to black people. We build your country and we get nothing. We build your business and we get nothing. We are the music industry and we have nothing. You suck the blood of the black community and you feel we have no right now to say something about it? What do you think I am?
His enemies weren't only just whites now, they were also blacks. These were the infiltrations in the ranks, just like the same ones who, in Marcus Garvey's time, were against his vision for blacks.
Why do you think there has been so much resistance to me having you on the show? I've even, not just white people, I've had black people tell me what you need to do is get sick on Wednesday. True story. Get sick on Wednesday and cancel Thursday, Friday.
What?
Jesus said, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Unfortunately, millions and millions of people on this earth are deprived of that particular truth of which Jesus spoke. And the great fear of those who hold our people in captivity is that our people will come into that particular truth that will make us a free people, justified and equal before God and man. If I were on the Donahue Show, as I have been invited again to Donahue, I've been invited by Barbara Walters and Forrest Sawyer, Connie Chung, and Tom Brokaw and Katie Couric and Mike Wallace. And how about Oprah and Montel? No. But the point is, Arsenio, that as long as I'm on a show where they...
You see how he called out the black holes? What about them, man? No.
I think I will be seriously opposed.
Oh, man.
It's all right. But you, as my brother, would allow me to stand here or sit here and, as they think, give me a free ride or a Valentine show. Then their fear is that nobody will oppose me, and as a result, truth will get out and people might be made free. But as we talked about this show before all of this controversy arose, I told you then and I tell you now, ask me anything that is in the hearts and minds of your listeners, white or black, Jewish or Gentile. And if I cannot answer those questions with truth, then I have no business being on this show. Let's start with,
The soundness of his message resonated with those who felt ignored by mainstream politics. This had led to concerns that he could potentially mobilize a powerful black counterforce.
There's not going to be any trouble tonight because we're just good brothers and sisters in love with one another. And we're in love with Minister Farrakhan. There's not going to be any trouble tonight because the haters are on the outside. And they hate Minister Farrakhan because they don't find a weak bone in his body. They hate Minister Farrakhan because they don't find him compromising. They hate Minister Farrakhan because he will not hold his tongue. There are many who desire to control his
Girl.com.
His tongue, to censor his tongue. But his tongue is controlled and dictated by the spirit and the power of Almighty God Allah. They don't like Minister Farrakhan because he's a free black man. And the policy of America has always been to prevent the emergence of a free black man. But we got a free black man today. He's not to be dictated to. He's not to be controlled by outside forces. He's a man who says what he pleases. He goes where he pleases. He does what he pleases. And so they hate Minister Farrakhan for the very reasons that we love him. They hate Minister Farrakhan because he will not apologize, because he knows he has no reason to apologize. He will not bow down. He submits to no one but Almighty God Allah. Farrakhan has become
Yes, sir.
a very controversial figure. But to be controversial is not a bad thing. In fact, because of the controversy swirling around Louis Farrakhan, I want the black leadership to know and black people to know I feel very privileged to be so controversial, because I am walking in good shoes. Jesus appeared in the Roman Empire and his message was controversial. Moses appeared in Egypt and his message was controversial. Whenever a man speaks against the popular version of the truth, then he's considered controversial. That I am.
This was 1985, the 14th of September, and over 18,000 people were present for the occasion. Black, white, red, brown. They were present for the occasion of liberation from the very stem voice of Louis Farrakhan.
If Jesus said, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free," and you are not yet free, then somebody has lied to you in the name of truth. If God is love and you hate yourself and are hated by the world, then someone has deceived you in the name of God. And I'm here tonight to lay the truth bare. And then, black leaders, if you will repudiate me, then repudiate me as a liar. But if I speak the truth tonight, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
Farrakhan was fearless, and if not, selfless. He knew the ropes, knew what he was open to, and he was ready to die for his beliefs if it came to that.
I love Almighty God, and to him alone do I submit and seek refuge and give and offer my life. I bow down to no man. I don't think no man is my master, only God. Your master has no power. I am proving that to you tonight. Your master is powerless. He cannot defeat Farrakhan, and he cannot defeat you. If you stand up like a man, stand up like a woman, you are free people. But if you allow yourself to be choked with fear, then you are unworthy to be saved. If what I say is truth, and that's all I will deal with tonight, and that's all I ever deal with, then you can say you don't like the truth of what I say, but you cannot say that what I say is a lie. I will stake my life on what I say. Will you stake your life on what you say? If you don't have any courage, stand back. I'll take them on by myself with the help of Almighty God.
What exactly did he represent that struck such a chord of trepidation? Why did he evoke such fear? One source of fear stemmed from his thought-provoking and sometimes combative.
Because he had the ears, he had the power, he had the motivation, like the influence. That was the real reason of the fear of the Honorable Minister Farrakhan.
Intelligence.
It pleases Almighty God
Honorable
that the children of slaves should rise up with power today. I am a proof, black brother and sister, that your enemies don't have power to stop you if you're man and woman enough to stand up. Look at the crowd tonight. They were doing everything to keep you from me, keep you from the forum, and you came out regardless to what they said because you want to hear for yourself. The power is with me today. The God of heaven and earth is with me in what I'm doing, and if all of you join against me, I will yet prevail, because the scripture tells you, if God be for you, who can be against you? Oh, that arrogant man. He says the power is with him. Then attack me and see what happens. You'll see. Just attack me and see what happens. You're a loser today. All of you that side with falsehood and side with the oppressor against the oppressed, you are losers today. If you are in the present and you are supposed to be free, but you are acting out of your slave past, then you will not be successful. The problem today with black leaders and black people is that we are living in the present, but our actions belong to the slave era. Therefore, we are not communicating properly to ourselves or to others. Any man that will serve you, brothers and sisters, must bring your actions up to time. You are not a slave, people.
You are not.
Therefore, you should take responsibility as a free people and start acting like free men and women, thinking like free men and women, walking like free men and women, planning like free men and women, and absolutely negotiating with others like you are free men and women. But if you go to others with your hat in your hand,
I'm getting it.
Scratching where you don't itch, bending and bowing, scraping and shuffling, and want to be respected, you cannot get that respect. You are out of time.
Farrakhan's religious views also caused unease.
Now, beloved, I have a problem with Jewish people. And it is not because I'm hateful of Jewish people, not at all. But I have a problem because I am declaring to the world that they are not the chosen people of God. Listen. I am declaring to the world that you, the black people of America and the Western Hemisphere, are the lost, the rejected, the despised, the prodigal son, the lost sheep, the God's people. You are the people of God. Now, this is not a problem of anti-Semitism. This is a problem of theological viewpoint. Now, I will argue with any Jewish scholar Come on out of hiding. Don't stand behind the Negroes that you taught in theological cemetery school. No. You come out yourself and bring your arguments with you. You know that you cannot defend yourself, not with truth. I got the books on you. So, the best thing you can do is tell the people, I'm a hater, I'm a bigot, I'm an anti-Semite. Now, you all listen to me tonight for the next few minutes, and you judge me for yourself. Here's what I'm saying. I am saying, dear Christians, that black people didn't accidentally come into America. It was by divine fulfillment of prophecy that we are here. I am saying from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that our slavery and suffering in America was not because God hated us. I am saying this was to fulfill a divine purpose that is bigger than our suffering.
And it was niggas here already. The motherfucking Christopher Columbus discovered America. It was niggas here too. It wasn't just the motherfucking Native Americans. Well, they was native. It wasn't just indigenous people, but the niggas that was here, they was indigenous, but they was niggas. They was us. They wasn't niggas, but they was, I don't know, indigenous niggas, indigenous niggas, whatever. Y'all know that.
Hear me now. In the book of Genesis, the 15th chapter, the 13th, 14th, and 15th verses, God says to Abraham, know of a surety, Abraham, your seed will be a stranger in a land that is not theirs. And they shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. But after that time, I will come, and I will judge that nation which they shall serve, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. Now, I didn't write the book. I just read it. Now, I only challenged the Jewish scholars. That's all. It's an intellectual thing. It's not violence. I just challenged the Jewish scholars. Show me the history of your suffering in Egypt for 400 years. I know you can't show it to me. That's all I'm saying. It's not violence. It's not anti-Semitism. It's a theological argument.
Another source of fear stemmed from his powerful voice for racial justice.
You know, a black man will never be free until he wants liberty more than anything else. More than money, more than power, more than fame. When he says, I want to be free, give me liberty or give me death, we'll be free overnight, black brother. Blacks fill the prisons in America. All of the state prisons, over 50% of those in the jails are black. Over 25% are Puerto Rican or Chicano or Native American. Are you saying that only blacks and Indians and Chicanos are criminals? Or is America a criminal society against the poor and the oppressed? Oh, Mr. Duke Machian. Oh, Mr. Duke Machian. your state filled with homosexuals, filled with degenerates, filled with filth and disease of every kind, crime on the increase, murderous police setting down on innocent people, killing them without due process of law. With all of this going on in your state, you should welcome me like the return of Jesus Christ to this state.
Another strong edge which his advocacy hinged on was black self-reliance, a concept that threatened to disrupt the status quo where economic power often resided with white institutions.
That we must come out of a debilitating self-hatred. We must make an exodus out of dependency on others. We must make an exodus out of fear. We must make an exodus out of all of those things that bind us to the slave master in a slave position. Listen. Now, there have been many solutions offered to the problems that face black people. George Washington feared that blacks would become a most troublesome species of property before too many years had passed over our heads. And Thomas Jefferson believed that there were indelible lines in nature that forbade black and white from getting along together in terms of social equality. Abraham Lincoln believed that as long as we were present in America, we could never hope for social equality, and that blacks suffer from being in America and whites suffer from our very presence. And therefore, Mr. Lincoln felt that the two people, black and white, should be separated. His first White House conference with black leaders was based on the question of separation. Mr. Lincoln desired that blacks be resettled either in Africa or in Central America. Mr. Lincoln felt that if we returned to Africa with the knowledge that we had gained from our sojourn in America, we could be a blessing to the entire continent of Africa. That's what Mr. Lincoln felt. Now, many black leaders have emerged since then to offer solutions. Booker T. Washington believed that blacks should be trained to develop skills and trades that we might drop our buckets down where we are. W.E.B. Du Bois believed in the talented tenth concept, that black people should develop skills in science and literature, mathematics and language. So among these two arose a great debate. And later came the Honorable Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey developed the strongest mass movement of black people in our history. And his cry was Africa for the Africans at home and abroad. Mr. Garvey desired to see blacks return to Africa. Then came the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, my leader, teacher, and guide, who advocated that blacks should be separated in a state or territory of our own, either here or elsewhere, and that America should take care of us in that separate state or territory for the next 20 to 25 years until we were able to go for ourselves. Now, since we have reached the time in history that we must make an exodus, brothers and sisters, it is important that we know what kind of exodus we must make. We have got to come out of the values, the norms, the way of our former slave masters. That's not hate. But you just must not be a carbon copy of your slave master anymore. In order to be respected, you must be yourself. Can't you see, brothers and sisters, that God is gradually bringing us out from under the authority of our former slave masters and their children? This is manifested in our babies unwillingness to go along with their teachers of education, religion, politics, and law. Why is it that no matter what you do, you can't seem to get control of the young black minds? The young blacks cannot be controlled by education and politics and religion, so drugs is flooding the black community to keep the young black mind in check. Look at it. We see a breakdown of order and discipline in the schools, in the homes, in the church, in the society. This is because it is time that black people come out from under white authority. Now, listen to me. Listen. It's not hate. You just are not a slave anymore. So you must stop thinking and acting like an inferior person. Hear me well. Listen. We have got to come out of the spirit of depending on others to do for us what we must do for ourselves. You cannot say you're a free man and then do not want the responsibility of freedom. You can't say you're equal to white people and they're feeding us, clothing us, sheltering us, making jobs for us. You can't go around saying to them, you white people don't give us a good image on the television. I don't like the way you portray us. You should be recognizing that they are not going to portray you. You must portray yourself in a better light. That's your responsibility and not theirs.
Right. Do it capital. Create a positive impact today and later, man. Fuck them haters. Get your paper. What I've been saying. I've been saying this before I really even started this shit, man. Whatever you do it capital. Whatever idea you got, think about how you can make that shit bigger than the biggest. You know what I'm saying? Make that shit bigger than the biggest. Think about how you can make your initial idea bigger than the first idea. Then think about how it can be bigger than that. Initiate them steps. You know what I'm saying? Making that shit happen. That's doing it cap. You know what I'm saying? Taking the initiative, following steps. Make that shit happen. You gotta represent yourself, bro. You gotta do for yourself. Go into business for yourself. Feed yourself. Feed your own family life. And depend on the God, man. You gotta hustle on your mission every day. You know what I'm saying? Home Inc., man. I had this shit 10 plus years, going on 13. When I initiated this idea, ran with it with a camera, nigga. A camera and a scene. Fucking dude. I had a camera and a scene, nigga. I shot it. I had a camera and a screen. You say that I had a camera and a screen to edit my shit. Got that shit done. Fuck that government assistance, all that shit, man. You don't need it.
We must recognize that God is after us today to build a new kind of world, a new kind of society. So God himself is breaking the ties that bind you to your slave master.
Yeah, man. You know what?
Say Farrakhan is preaching divisiveness. No, I'm preaching to black people that black people must do for themselves. You don't like that because you always want to see black people groveling at your feet. Now, if you want to stay at the feet of white people, brothers and sisters, that's up to you. But I can tell you, you will be a loser all the way down the line. Your children will rise up and condemn you. You must get up from the foot of your master and say, I am a free man. I will take my life into my own hands. You must do this.
One key element was his unapologetic challenge to white supremacy. His rhetoric, while harsh, was seen by some as a necessary corrective to centuries of white dominance.
Were you born between 1979 and 1989?
Yeah, man. Dividendsapparel.com, man. Whatever you do, make sure you do it capital. Create a positive impact today and later, man. Dividendsapparel.com. Y'all remember that. Dividendsapparel.com. Get your people something. The birthday coming up. Christmas coming up. Valentine's Day right there after that.
Though Mr. Garvey and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad preached separation, you know that white people do not want to let us go, and most of us don't want to go. Come on, let's deal with the truth now. Shall I say that again? White folks are afraid to let you go, because if they let you go, they feel, according to Scripture, you may join on to a powerful enemy and remember the evil that they poured on you and come back against them. So they really don't want to let you go. However, at the same time that they don't want to let you go, they have nothing here for you to do. Your unemployment rate is now 26%. 50% of our youth are unemployed. Is that right? Blacks are more than 3 times as likely to be poor as whites. And as of 1981, the median income of blacks was 56% of that of whites.
I wonder what it is. That's 1981. 56% of white.
Over 50% of all black children are growing up in poverty today, and according to the social scientists, they don't see any way out for our children in the future. Now, if they don't see any way out, do you see a way out? I do. How can our children remain in poverty if we say they will not? There is a way out if you and I take up the challenge, and that's what I'm in Los Angeles to do, not to teach you to hate white people or to hate Jews, but to pick up the challenge of your responsibility as a free man and woman and determine a future for yourself. Black family heads earn far less than white family heads with comparable educational backgrounds. Black family heads with college education, college degrees, earn a salary equal to white high school graduates who are heads of families. Now listen to me, brothers and sisters. If you wait around here for the government to change it, if you wait around for politicians to change it, will it be changed? The only people that can change this is who? We ourselves. Look, in 1960, 74% of all black males were employed. Now, 24 years later, 55 to 60% of the black males, 45 to 50% of the black males are employed, and this is steadily changing, going down. There's a steady growth in female-headed families. Over 50% of all black families are headed by a woman. 700,000 new families were headed by females in 1981, and at the same time, 700,000 black men were added to the roll of the unemployed. If black men are being systematically pushed out, how can a black man command the respect of a black woman when he has nothing in himself to hold on to? Look at what we're saying, brothers and sisters. What are the social consequences of this economic condition? Blacks have higher infant and maternal mortality rates. Blacks have shorter life expectancy. In fact, brothers and sisters, according to the statistics, over 50,000 soldiers lost their lives in the Vietnamese conflict in nearly 9 years. There were 20,000 murders in America last year. Half of them were black men. So 10,000 young blacks lost their lives in the ghetto in 1 year, as opposed to 50,000 Americans losing their lives in Vietnam. And what this is saying is, you got a better chance in a war in Vietnam than walking the streets of the ghetto in America.
Farrakhan's economic message continues to strike a nerve until this day. Everything that he charged America with in 1959 still proves relevant until this current time. Thank you for watching.
It definitely does. And on some other shit. Yeah, man. Good morning. 5 o'clock. A minute to 5. Hey, man. Hey. It's been another R.N.R. Homie TV, every day. Real nigga reactions. Hey, man, why they fear the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And now you know why. But this was a good one for me to review at this time with the election and everything coming up for all Americans. I was gonna say black Americans, but all Americans. For real, you gotta do for yourself. Gotta do for yourself, man. Make that shit happen yourself, man. Build your family up yourself, man. You gotta you can't depend on the government, man. You already see how they doing. You see how it's going. You feel me? It be all propaganda. The popular vote does not decide the president. The electoral college to go against the popular vote. And they've done it in 2 recent elections. So the more you know. You know what I'm saying? Handle your business. And get to it, man. You know what this is. Whatever you do, make sure you do it capital. This is the Lit House. R.N.R. Another R.N.R. moment by yours truly, DJ Dividends. Whatever you do, man. Do it capital. Create a positive impact today and later. Fuck them haters. Get your motherfucking paper. Remember, real niggas do what they want to do. Bitch niggas do what they can. Whole ass motherfuckers gonna talk about it, and police ass motherfuckers just gonna hate. Straight like that, man. Hey, man, that's from the heart. Everything I love, man.